Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this special event, and a special hello to all of you joining us online this morning. I'd first like to acknowledge that we are on Treaty 6 territory and the homeland of the Métis. We pay our respect to the First Nations and Métis ancestors of our gathering place and reaffirm our relationship with one another. I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you, our university community and friends, and thank you for sharing in this celebration. It's actually pretty wonderful to see you all in person. I would also like to extend a heartfelt welcome to our honored guests and the reason we are gathered here today to make a special announcement and show our gratitude for Jane and Ron Graham, proud alumni, most generous donors, and biggest Husky fans. Jane and Ron, you both continue to show your unparalleled support for our students, athletes, researchers, and the whole campus. Many of you know Ron and Jane and have seen firsthand the positive impact they continue to have on our university, helping enhance our academic programming and athletics, providing countless students with scholarship support, and encouraging other alumni and donors to give back in their own ways. They have transformed the student-athlete experience by providing our Huskies with top-tier training, clubhouse, sport research, and rehabilitation facilities. As proud alumni, they have given back to support students in their own colleges, engineering for Ron and education for Jane. And they have inspired so many people in our community because they have chosen to share their success with our next generations of alumni. Today's news will inspire many more, and I would now like to introduce President Peter Stoichev, who will share more about our exciting announcement.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's wonderful to see a room reasonably full as it can be, of supporters and friends of the university and of Jane and Ron Graham. And thank you, Chancellor McCreath. I don't know if you introduced yourself as the Chancellor. Oh. This is our Chancellor.
That's okay.
Thank you very much for your words. It's great to see everybody here, and it is, as our Chancellor has just said, so wonderful to all be able to be together. I can't think of a better way to start off this new school year than by recognizing Ron and Jane Graham, two of our university's most passionate supporters. And if you're in doubt about where they're sitting, they're in the green here. And Ron is wearing a jacket that I covet. I should have worn mine as well, but it's better that he wears his today. Ron and Jane, my wife Catherine and I, and everyone here offer you a sincere welcome back to our campus. They were here a week ago, left the city, left the country, and have come back again just for this. And as you can see, there are people here from many areas of our university to show you our gratitude, and we really appreciate that you were able to travel back here to be with us. I know that I speak for everybody here when I say how grateful we are for everything that you have done for our university and for your enthusiasm to help so many others succeed, which is what your support enables. And we have even more to thank you for. Today, I'm pleased to announce Jane and Ron Graham's significant donation of $5.9 million to support students, athletes, academics, and research at the University of Saskatchewan. There's a lot behind that figure, and I and our Chancellor will start to tell you a lot about it. This extraordinary gift will impact our campus in many positive ways, And the gift includes a $3 million donation to enhance 3 of our Husky athletics teams, football, men's basketball, and women's basketball, each with a $1 million gift. $1 million to VITO, the Vaccine and Infectious Disease Organization Labs, to support its campaign to become Canada's Centre for Pandemic Research. $1 million to the College of Education to support the Jane and Ron Graham Centre for the Scholarship of Teaching and Learning, and $900,000 to the College of Engineering to support the Ron and Jane Graham School of Professional Development and the college's re-engineered first-year program. Ron and Jane Graham are not only exceptional alumni who have made an incredible impact in our community, they are also the University of Saskatchewan's top cumulative individual donors in our entire history, having donated nearly $30 million to support the University of Saskatchewan and our community. The generosity of our many valued alumni and donors is helping us in our mission to be the university the world needs. It's very important to us. And they're doing it by investing in critical research, supporting Indigenous achievement, inspiring students to succeed, and by designing visionary spaces. But we wouldn't be able to do this without the incredible support of people like Ron and Jane. Ron and Jane Graham's gift to generously support the University of Saskatchewan's Vaccine and Infectious Disease Organization with a $1 million gift is an example of this. They're supporting our response to a world health crisis with top researchers and facilities. With over 45 years of experience, VITO is internationally recognized for its role in vaccine development and is one of Canada's leading national science facilities of any kind. 8 of VITO's vaccines have been sold commercially, 6 of which are world firsts, and 4 more are in commercial development. Of course, VITO has played a vital leadership role during the COVID-19 pandemic, which has demonstrated how a single emerging disease can impact our entire world. VITO is the first organization in Canada to isolate the virus that causes COVID-19 and the first in Canada to develop an animal model of the disease. During this pandemic, Volker Gertz, who is here today with his team, have worked with over 100 organizations around the world to advance the development of vaccines, antivirals, and therapeutics against COVID-19. We are proud to be the first Canadian university to have a COVID-19 vaccine in clinical trials and excited to contribute more at the global level thanks to supporters like Ron and Jane Graham. Thanks also to government and donor support, VITO's facilities will be enhanced over the next 3 years to become a level 4 containment facility that will allow VITO to study all infectious diseases. Through recruitment of global experts and training of future infectious disease researchers, VITO will be able to better prepare Canada and the world for future emerging human and animal infectious diseases. Ron and Jane, thank you for recognizing and supporting this vital research. Your commitment will help elevate the work of VITO to enhance our colleges.
Thank you, Peter. 2 years ago, Jane and Ron celebrated the launch of the Jane and Ron Centre for the Scholarship of Teaching and Learning in the College of Education. I was fortunate to be at that celebration. Jane and I share the same special connection with the College of Education. We are both proud alumni to the college. Throughout our friendship, I have witnessed Jane's dedication to students and her desire to elevate the profession that we both love and care about so deeply, that of a teacher. It was through Jane's commitment to the college and to enhancing student learning that the Jane and Ron Centre for the Scholarship of Teaching and Learning in the College of Education was born. Today, we are thrilled to announce that Jane and Ron are generously supporting the Centre's important work with an additional $1 million gift. The center encourages educators in all disciplines to conduct rigorous research into their teaching and learning environments and share that learning publicly. It inspires communities to work together, to discover creative solutions to common and distinct problems of teaching and learning. Students of education often learn to teach as they were taught, leading to struggles in early years where the classroom often presents challenges without textbook solutions. Addressing this problem requires the elevation of the concept of the scholarship of teaching and learning, and we are grateful for Jane and Ron's vision to address this. Over the last 2 years, the College of Education has worked hard to build on that vision and trust to establish this center. Several courses and programs have been established since the approval of the center by the University Council in 2020. Thanks to their ongoing generosity, new graduate and certificate programming in the Scholarship of Teaching and Learning, I must say the first of their kind in Canada, launched earlier this month. Milestones were achieved from K to 12 educational partners in Saskatchewan. Jane and Ron, thanks for your generosity, vision, and trust. The College of Education has tapped into a critical area of interest, research with the ability to find practical answers every day in their classroom. The positive difference Ron and Jane's support will make for Usask students extends throughout our campus. And I am pleased to tell you about how their donation will enhance the College of Engineering. In 2012, Ron and Jane supported the creation of the Ron and Jane Graham School of Professional Development in the College of Engineering. It was a game changer, and hundreds of engineering students have reaped the rewards. In this school, students learn key skills that help them become more effective professional engineers. Skills like communication, entrepreneurship, and leadership. Since it was a groundbreaking change, they saw that engineering education in Canada hadn't changed a lot in the past century. They saw a better way to inspire students and to set them up for success in their degrees and in their careers, so they set out to completely rebuild first-year engineering at Usask. The result is re-engineered, the brand new first-year engineering program. Change like this doesn't happen without champions, and once again, Ron and Jane were the champions of the College of Engineering needed. With a $500,000 gift from the Grahams, the College of Engineering hired faculty who were instrumental in redesigning and rebuilding the first-year engineering program. Thanks to the support of Ron and Jane, the curriculum is revitalized to support student success and provide students with the skills they need for their degrees and their careers. Before this year, first-year engineering students took 5 or 6 classes that lasted the entire semester. Today, re-engineered classes vary in length and intensity, and students can cover a broader range of material. The college has also changed how they evaluate students. No more high-stakes, high-stress midterms and finals. Students are graded throughout the semester, and they must reach a certain level of competence in every section of the course before they pass. These changes are better for learning and support student wellness. We're excited about re-engineered, and students are too. In fact, this fall, our first engineering enrollment is up 25% over last year. Jane, I think you and I should be very proud of this program, and we know we couldn't have launched it without Ron and Jane's support. With this big change to the first-year experience, it's going to be important to evaluate our outcomes. So Ron and Jane immediately saw the value of this and are supporting this work with a $400,000 gift to the Ron and Jane Graham School of Professional Development. This gift will support a new staff person in the Ron and Jane Graham School of Professional Development who will capture the learning outcomes of the re-engineered program for publication and dissemination in Canada and around the world. The position will assist the school in achieving a school is expanding access to a suite of professional development opportunities, empowering lifelong learning for its students, alumni, and other professionals. Building skills with professional development retains its place at the forefront of Jane and Ron. Yeah. From a student's, you are an unwavering source of support the world needs. President Stoichev will now tell you more about Ron and Jane's incredible generosity to the Huskies.
Thank you, Grit. And I'd just like to acknowledge as well, there are representatives here from the College of Engineering, I know, and from the College of Education, including its Dean, Beth Bilson. Thank you, Beth, for being here. And also Ron and Jane's son, Jeff, is here, and their grandson, Connor. Thank you very much, you guys, for being here as well. As many of you know, Ron and Jane Graham have been longtime advocates and supporters for the Huskies. Thanks to Ron and Jane, our student athletes have enhanced facilities like our 2 NBA-sized practice basketball courts, the Graham Husky Clubhouse for our football team, and the Ron and Jane Graham Sports Science and Health Center, which also serves our greater community. And that's in Merlis Belcher Place, and I'm pleased to acknowledge Merlis, who's here with us as well. Hi, Merlis. They have also contributed greatly to student athlete scholarships, and they regularly travel with the teams to cheer them on. And every Huskies basketball fan will see how much they mean to our student athletes and university when they attend a game at the PAX Ron. Today, I'm pleased to share how Ron and Jane are expanding their support of our Huskies with a $3 million gift that will benefit 3 of our Huskies teams equally, football and men's and women's basketball. This gift comes out of their ongoing commitment to see our student athletes succeed and to enhance their training and competition opportunities so they can compete at the highest levels. Thanks to Ron and Jane, our Husky student athletes will have additional nutrition, academic, athletic, and training supports. Our football and basketball teams and representatives from them are here as well, increased performance thanks to this gift. And they will be able to have new travel opportunities for international competitions and for skills development. The Graham's generosity will also allow each basketball team to hire a full-time assistant coach, giving our teams a competitive advantage with this dedicated coaching support. These enhanced athletic and mentoring opportunities are far and above what most university athletics programs in this. It truly sets the Huskies apart from their national competitors. All of these enhancements are focused on giving our student athletes the best training to reach their goal of being #1 in the country, while also excelling in their academic pursuits. Our Huskies, your donation will ensure Huskies support for generations to come, and I know how meaningful it is to our athletes. We've now heard about many of the major ways that Ron and Jane have helped us transform. Has personally benefited from Ron and Jane's generosity. I invite you to meet Libby Epic, who is in her final year of engineering studies and a proud Husky basketball student athlete. I'd like to call up Libby to say a few words about her experience as a Ron and Jane basketball recruitment scholarship recipient on behalf of all students impacted so positively by their support.
Basketball teammates and coaches, and all student athletes in Husky Athletics, and all students at Usask. Just seeing these photos up here gets me so excited to be back in the gym, to be a part of today's event, recognizing Ron and Jane Graham's latest gift to Vito, the College of Education, the College of Engineering, and Husky Athletics. My path has intersected with Ron and Jane in several ways. We share much in common. First of all, we share a special bond with the friendly city, or Moose Jaw. I always give Ron a hard time that we graduated from rival high schools, but I'm glad we can put our differences aside and agree that we both found our way to the best university, the University of Saskatchewan, that eventually evolved into the Graham Group of companies. Obviously, I share a passion for sport and the game of basketball with Ron and Jane. Jane also competed as student athletes, Jane a swimmer and a fencer, and Ron they're starring in here. We'll have to check the rest. We also share a dedication to academics. Jane, an alumna of the college, which is where I find myself today. In the pursuit of my degree, I'm fortunate to be a recipient of Ron and Jane's generosity, being a scholarship recipient since my first year at Usask. To say it has eased the burden of tuition and financial stress and helped me stay focused on my studies is the biggest understatement ever. Ron and Jane's generosity has impacted my life tremendously. Although they have alleviated a huge financial burden off myself and my family, they have impacted my life beyond that. Just last week when Ron and Jane were in town, I met with them for breakfast. And anyone here who's worked with Ron and Jane's schedule, it is jam-packed when they come to the U of S, but they made time to meet me for breakfast. They wanted to discuss the construction industry with me and the opportunities that exist within it. And I just thought to myself, wow, they made time to sit down with me, pass on their wisdom and knowledge, something that is a priceless gift, and I will carry that with me for the rest of my life. And I also have a fond memory of Jane touring our very beautiful team room in Merlis Belcher Place, thinking she could have been an interior designer that day, making sure we had all of the best things picked out. Their gifts have meant everything to my experience at Usask as a Husky student athlete. But I'm only one example of this intersection that Ron and Jane have with students at the university. Countless others have been touched by their generosity and continue to be. Today, we celebrate their latest gift, a combined $5.9 million donation to our university. This will create countless opportunities for a new generation of students at USask and beyond. With the Graham's gift to the Friends of Vito Fund, they are investing in the innovative research to develop vaccines to address and prevent infectious disease. As COVID-19 interrupted regular activity on campus, including classes, social events, and yes, our Husky season, which I know Ron and Jane miss cheering us on at, it is an important reminder of how quickly our world can change and how severe the impact can be. This gift to Vito is not only an investment in our university, but in our livelihood. Another part of this gift is $1 million to the Jane and Ron Graham Center for the Scholarship of Teaching and Learning in the College of Education. This will assist program in the center to support the study, development, and application of novel teaching and learning approaches that lead to innovative practices in teaching. I know my fellow student athletes who are pursuing their degree were very excited about this. It means so much for their studies and their career going forward. As I mentioned, I am an engineering student, which gives me special pride to talk about the Graham's gift to the College of Engineering. Their gift will support the newly relaunched, re-engineered first-year program, which I might have to do another loop through my degree to get back in on this first-year program. That sounds amazing. So with this gift, Ron and Jane are fueling that all-important first year for engineering students and supporting a project coordinator for the School of Professional Development. These enhancements to programming at the college will have a profound and tangible effect. So whether it's establishing the Graham Husky Clubhouse for our football team or the Graham Sports Health and Science Center at Merlis Belcher Place, Ron and Jane have always had a keen attention to detail for the modern needs of Husky athletes. In addition to the many scholarships they funded, Ron and Jane have worked to make sure Husky athletes have premier coaching, facilities, infrastructure, and technology to help make sure Husky athletics is the best program for student athletes in the whole country. Ron and Jane care deeply about providing us with what we need in every facet of our lives to perform our best on the court and in the classroom. After having our seasons compromised by the pandemic, I am very excited to return to our home court to compete with my teammates in front of our fans, including Ron and Jane. So whether it's playing on our home court that bears their name over at the PAC or practicing on the courts at Merlis Belcher, which they funded, we do not need to look far to be reminded of how Ron and Jane have helped us on every step of our athletic and academic journey. I mentioned earlier that Ron and Jane are our biggest fans, but I truly believe that the students and student athletes at Usask are your biggest fans. On behalf of all my teammates and fellow Husky student athletes, thank you for everything you have done for us, Ron and Jane.
Libby, come back here. We have to do that. Thank you so much, Libby. It's wonderful to hear from an inspiring student athlete like yourself. I now have the pleasure of welcoming our honored guests, Jane and Ron, to the podium. We are all excited to hear from the two of you. Come on up, and I just have to do this. I just have to. Go for it.
It's so glad to see you all here this morning. Oh, I have to take it off. There we are. Okay. But it has been our pleasure and our absolute joy to have fulfilled some of the needs and wants of so many aspects of the university. We haven't prepared a speech. I think that you have heard from all of the wonderful people here, Grit and Peter and Libby, what we have hoped to and have accomplished so far. It started with facilities, and then it went to programs, and then it went to scholarships, and it went to Vito, and to our colleges, education and engineering. We've found that by keeping in touch with the students, keeping in touch with the administration and the teachers and the colleges, by asking questions, we've found things that we felt were very worthwhile. And we're still going to keep on doing it. We bleed green. We really do bleed green. You can tell by just looking at us. And I think it's Saskatchewan, Usask, is the university that the world needs. And we want to make sure that we can, sorry, I lose my track as soon as I try to look at a few notes that I've written down. But we want the needs of the university to be fulfilled so that we will continue to be the university that the world needs. And we ask all of you, and indeed all the alumni of the university, to consider their years when they attended, what the university did for them, and how it has wonderfully impacted and changed their lives. And so, I want to turn this over to Ron.
Well, the research that Jane and I do would be, in some ways, not dissimilar to what you do on campus. But, for example, the basketball courts that we added to Merlis Belcher Place was really research we did in Eastern Canada, national basketball finals. We found out that there just wasn't enough court space here, just being involved with the players as we would be in a trip like that, or the coaches. And we realized that there isn't enough space for basketball practicing and so on the campus. So that trip was initiated by the experience with the coaches down east. Came back home and said, how can we make this happen? Fortunately, the new ice arena was going to be built, thanks serious support from Merlis. And he said, this is, as a contractor, this is a good way to add on to Merlis Belcher Place with basketball courts. And so that, for us, or myself as a contractor, it'd be a good way to do it cost effectively, is to add the courts on. And so it worked out well, and so the research of that turned out well. We've had a couple of other cases as well, where we go down east and we see it, this goes back some years ago, but the basketball lineup and the players and coaches, we said, well, the Huskies, there's only one coach here. We look at the opposition, and there's several coaches. We said, we got to fix this. So we followed up and did some more work and worked with the coaches, as Peter said earlier, and funded effectively full-time assistant coaches. So, and we've done that, and we're going forward. The other research, which really led to the $3 million donation to $1 million to each of the teams, was on the one hand, we looked at a number of things. Nutrition for us is a big thing that we think needs to be added to the programs literally across the country. When I played football years ago, we used to get a voucher at the end of practice each day. We'd go onto the campus cafeteria and we could get a meal. And now that's not possible, and we think that's wrong. We think these students need to have appropriate nutrition. So hopefully what this $1 million each of the team will do would be assist in that area, as well as other athlete needs, such as tutoring and so on. So this gives the coaches, we think, more flexibility on what the needs are. They're close to the student needs, and so we're optimistic that this will lead to others as well. A little vignette on the other side of that. The $3 million, for example, how did it happen? Well, it's interesting. I'm I guess, an investment junkie. So about half a dozen years ago, a good friend of mine who's in the pharmaceutical business in San Diego was investing in a startup company. And so Jane and I ended up putting a couple $100,000 into this company. And about 6 years later, the company was going to go public. So the couple $100,000 turned into, when it went public and turned it into real dollars, was $2.5 million US. We moved the money up to Canada, and it's a $3 million donation, which is the donation we made to the two teams, or the three teams, sorry. And the $2.5 million got the currency lift, which took us to the $3 million. So it worked out so well, and worked out well, I think, for the teams. It gave them, long term, it was set up, as some of you may or may not know, on the basis that they have $1 million, and the hope is that that will generate enough money to add to what their needs are and what the students' needs are. So that's something that will likely be there on a long-term basis. I've got a feeling that when more needs are identified and so on, we'll add to it. That's something that we have the ability to do, and we couldn't think of a better way of giving back to the university than give back to the students who are the key to making this such a successful and super place to be around. So thank you very much for recognizing us. It's wonderful. We're back here. We really enjoy coming to Saskatoon for the university campus. We have family here, as mentioned earlier, with Jeff and Connor, and we have a great-granddaughter that's, last time we were here, wore us out after a full day of just trying to follow her around. 2 years old and walking and talking. Boy, it was wonderful. But thank you very much for honoring us. We're pleased, and we're not stopping yet. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you, Jane and Ron, one more time. We absolutely loved hearing from you and all your reasons for giving back, and especially for staying connected with all of us. Thank you so, so much. On behalf of the University of Saskatchewan, I want to extend our deepest gratitude for your incomparable and generous continuing support. It's just absolutely incredible. So thank you very much. Hugs later. Today's announcement brought together many facets of our campus, and before we part, I would like to acknowledge a few of our leaders involved, which shows just how much of an impact this donation will have on our entire university. Beth Bilson, who's the interim dean of the College of Education, Husky Athletics Chief Athletics Officer, Shannon Chin. Oh, there you are. Hi, Shannon. Director and CEO of VIDO, the Vaccine and Infectious Disease Organization, Volker Gertz. Professor Sean Ma, Jerry G. Huff Chair in Innovative Teaching, representing our College of Engineering, as Dean Suzanne Cresta was unable to be here today. Hi, Sean. All of our leaders and speakers will be available for media interviews, and those will take place just outside this room in the foyer. So lastly, I hope you will join us in celebrating the Huskies' return to the field at Griffith Stadium in Nutrien Park. Yahoo! Tonight, our women's soccer team will be playing at 7, and it's free for everyone. And tomorrow, our football team takes the field for their first at-home game at 2 p.m. I hope to see you there. So that concludes our program, everyone. Thank you all for being here and celebrating this very, very special occasion.